Hello, welcome back to another episode of Fuel for Thought where, wow, what a weekend.
Great weekend.
That was probably what a lot of people were expecting to happen in some way or another eventually, with Lando getting so close to Max and, Max eventually needing to do some hard defending. But wow.
Yeah, this is where everyone wants F1 to be.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of criticisms.
You obviously don't want the front two to collide, but you want it to be so close to the point where they are fighting for
the excitement. But anyway, we'll come on to that. But first, we've got a less eventful sprint race to review.
Yep.
Probably the most eventful thing in that sprint race was the two McLarens chasing the Red Bull, and you see that cool picture of them side by side chasing Max.
No,
it was cool. There was an aerial shot of Max ahead, and then those two side by side, and it looked like they were chasing him down together.
That's great.
If only that was the reality.
Yeah.
Because, in the end, Piastri overtook Lando.
Yeah. Well, first Lando overtook Max.
Yes.
Then Max re-overtook Lando, and Piastri got ahead of Lando because Max and Lando were fighting.
Yes.
Piastri almost took Max as well, but not quite.
He did, yeah. That would have been really eventful.
It would have been.
It would have been great.
I feel like Piastri and Max have had sprint races before where they're both at the front together.
Piastri likes a sprint race.
He does. He does indeed.
He's showing whispers of good pace, and we know it's quick anyway. He's won a sprint race. He's had some second places. It's his second season, so he's gonna be up there with Lando before we know it.
Yeah.
And I just hope it's sooner rather than later because it's exciting with him up there as well.
Yeah.
But last couple of races, he's kind of not been up there where, with the other McLaren, Mercedes have been ahead of him.
Yeah.
And maybe that's McLaren's true pace. Maybe it's Lando outperforming it.
I don't know, because a few times now, Oscar's had his lap times deleted in qualifying, which has kind of caused him to be lower down the pack than he should be.
Yeah. But, he's still putting it there or thereabouts of where it needs to be.
Yeah.
So can't really complain that much.
No.
Just getting a good haul of points.
Yeah.
Probably the team getting the most points every week still. So
they're probably at the top for overtaking Red Bull for the constructors, definitely.
Yeah, well, the way Perez is performing. Overtaken by Haas. I know he had damage, but still.
What, has he had damage for the last 5 weeks?
This
5
race,
races.
He had a hole in his side pod.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like that isn't an excuse.
Well,
obviously, it's an excuse for this race, but how are you going to excuse the previous races?
It's at the same point with Daniel Ricciardo was where, when a legitimate excuse comes up, it doesn't matter because you've had enough poor performances that the excuse is just adding one more, and whether it's legit misfortune or not, it still tallies up at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but to wrap up the sprint race, not really much else happens, to be honest.
No.
That I can think of.
No.
Yeah.
I can't really remember anything apart from those three. Well, the only other thing that happened that was eventful was the start got abandoned and they had to do another outlap, another formation lap. Did you not see that bit?
Why did the start get abandoned?
You caught the highlights, didn't you? I think there was photographers on the track, so they had
ridiculous.
they reduced the already short sprint race by 1 lap.
Wow.
To do another formation lap, yeah.
But can we now please talk about the race?
Okay.
Man.
Let's do it.
What a race, huh? It was looking like the same old.
Yeah. Max pulled away quite quickly.
Well, by lap, I think I looked on, it was like 13, 14. He was 6 seconds ahead.
Okay.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, God, here we go again. And, Lando was kind of in his own space as well.
Yeah. There was a gap, obviously, between Lando
and George.
And obviously him and Maxi was kind of in between.
Exactly.
By 6 seconds each way, I would say.
And then George was not holding everyone up, but there was sort of like him, and then 2 seconds back was Carlos,
Yeah.
and 2 seconds back was Lewis,
Yeah.
and 2 seconds back was Piastri.
Yeah.
Or
Bit
was
of a train.
And then Piastri got Lewis, didn't he? Eventually, I think. I seem to recall.
There was a lot of a lot of collisions at the beginning. I say a lot, but a couple. Leclerc got
That's right. Yeah.
bashed by
Piastri.
Piastri, and Lance got bashed by Logan Sargent.
God, those two drivers.
Yep. And then throughout the race, Alonso crashed into Zhou, crashed him off the...
Yeah, that was mental.
Yeah.
Seeing it back, it was obviously just a mistake. He just
Yeah, I think he looked up, didn't he?
Yeah, but
Got in the wrong position and locked up.
it just looked like he was on ice and just skidded into him.
I think his tyres had gone as well.
But yeah.
I think Daniel Ricciardo and another, I can't remember who else, overtook Zhou at that point. There was a lot of penalties as well.
Yeah, so if you remember last year,
Yep.
this track had it was like 180 or something track limits and infractions.
Yes.
And, so many drivers got given penalties after the race. Ocon got like 3 5-second penalties after the race.
That's where the jokes come from.
Yeah. So this year they added gravel to stop that, which
They also
helped.
added sausage curbs, didn't they?
Yeah. But there was still a lot of penalties.
Yes.
Lewis got a penalty for crossing a white line in the pits.
Yeah.
After being snitched on.
So did
by Piastri.
I know. I saw people complaining about Piastri for that, but they all do it.
They all do it.
And they're told to do it anyway. They have this is
It's gamesmanship.
Exactly. Alex Albon got the same penalty. Fernando Alonso obviously got 10-second penalty for the Zhou Guanyu incident,
Which seems to be the normal penalty now for
Yes.
causing a collision. It's agreed upon by the driver, so they can't complain.
Logan Sargent got a penalty for that collision with Lance.
Perez got a penalty for track limits. No, speeding in the pit lane.
Speeding in the pit lane, which he wasn't happy about. And apparently he was saying, we just don't have the pace. We look at Max. I'm not sure if it's a we.
Yeah.
Lando got a penalty.
For track
limits.
Which was kind of harsh because, I guess you don't put yourself in that position by going off 3 times.
No.
Because his 4th infraction was trying to overtake Max. And I suppose he overdid it on the dive bomb, went off the track. So I guess it's like...
Yeah, and at that point, I'm not sure if... Did Max force him off the track at that point?
No.
No, it was a previous other point.
That was Lando.
And then Max got a penalty, which meant absolutely nothing.
Yeah. But, for Lando's penalty, for stuff like that, I guess it discourages drivers racing so hard that they go off the track. But if it's not gaining an advantage, still track limits, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they were saying most of the weekend, the rules have to be black and white.
It's true.
You just can't.
Can't be subjective.
Exactly. It
Fair
has
enough.
to be black and white. So I think that's why they did it. But Lando didn't take his 5-second time penalty, and I don't actually know whether he's going to get a penalty at Silverstone now.
Yeah, you know what McLaren should have done if they were smart about it is take the penalty. Either send the car out for another lap.
I think the car was too damaged.
No, the car was drivable. Lando, it was too damaged to be racy.
Okay.
Enough,
So, yeah.
enough aero parts came off that they weren't going to get anywhere, and they would just fall into the back anyways, which is why he retired. But yeah, to avoid another penalty, either don't touch the car for 5 seconds and then retire it, or send him out for another lap. Maybe, I don't know. But I guess in the heat of the moment, you don't really think about that.
Yeah.
We'll see if he gets a penalty at Silverstone. I really hope not.
I haven't heard anything about that.
Yeah.
So I hope not as well, because obviously
I think they'll find a way to not, because it's such a good narrative at Silverstone for him to have a penalty. And I know that goes against the whole idea of the competitive.
I'm sure there's some kind of loophole which gets him out of it because he got bashed into by Max.
Yeah, who knows? Right, shall we move on and talk about the incident?
The incident that made the Grand Prix what it was.
I mean, yeah, it started because McLaren's pit stop was 3 seconds faster than Red Bull's pit stop.
Max's was 6 seconds.
Yeah.
And Red Bull never screw up their
It was
pit
like 5.5,
stops.
wasn't it?
Yeah, something like
McLaren's
that.
was like 2.5. Yeah,
And at that point, Lando was 7 seconds behind Max, I
something
think.
like that. But it put him like 3, maybe under 3 seconds behind. You get game on at that point. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, we saw some vintage Max Verstappen moves, didn't
Yeah.
we? Where he was moving very late coming towards the braking zone. Like Lando would make a move just before the braking zone and Max would then cover him off like very, very quickly and very
Yeah.
close to Lando. And it's like it was too close.
Which is
It's too
actually
much.
called moving under braking, which is actually against the rules.
Yeah, well, and the whole like double move thing is a rule because of Max.
Yeah, that's
but it
true.
was very reminiscent of the types of incidents like Baku, where Ricardo went into the back of Max because he moved late.
Yep.
So, and it was that sort of move, and it was probably quite dangerous.
Yeah. Dangerous is definitely the word you're looking for.
Yeah. And we know Max is a hard racer, like all of, the champions of old. Like Schumacher was the same. Hamilton's raced hard in his career, but racing like this is where he gets his reputation from.
Yeah.
And I think it caused Lando to lose confidence in him as like a peer, like racing wheel to wheel with him, which meant he started trying to go around the outside, and eventually caused this incident.
Yeah, because he wasn't able to take the corner how he would want to.
No.
Taking it too closely.
Yeah. And what I kind of think is that Max subconsciously in his mind races in a way that forces another driver to either back out or crash.
Yeah.
And he like plays chicken. So he's like, I'm going to put my car here. If you don't move, we're going to come together, and you don't want that. And
Yeah.
he's made some money moves out of that. He's profited off of that in the past, especially in 2021, where Lewis backed out a lot.
Yeah.
And then eventually Lewis didn't back out, and obviously Silverstone happened, and we don't want to see those things happening. So, and I think the same happened here. Lando could have gone off the track or put two wheels off the track to avoid Max as he came across, but he was forced into a position where he was like, if I'm going to overtake this aggressive driver, I need to stand my ground.
Yeah.
And that's what he did.
You need to have that kind of aggression. Not aggression, but like...
You need to match it.
Yeah.
And you need to be like, no, I've put my car here, legitimately, rightfully so.
Yeah.
Now it's your turn to move back out. And, I don't even know if Max was paying attention. It was intentional, but he came across him thinking to back out, or the movement would happen to avoid the incident. It didn't.
Yeah. It's all about respectful racing, and there's a certain way to do it, and that's not the way to do it. Yeah, it's not great. And I think obviously we haven't seen this kind of side of Max in the past year or two because he's never had anyone kind of that close since Lewis.
And it's exciting to see, because now these conversations come back up, and it's exciting to talk about. It's a good narrative.
Yeah.
And when it's on the limit, it's good hard racing, and you have no complaints because he's obviously a world champion driver. Like he's won like 60 odd races. He's in the list of the greatest at this point. But when it goes over that limit, the old like, oh, this is how Max races conversations come back into play, and obviously not the conversations you want to hear. Or like, obviously we're not Red Bull fans. It's easy to be like, oh, that Max, but in trying to be objective about it, it's like he's too aggressive.
Yeah, but I some people are saying, why didn't you just back out and let Lando pass? And I completely understand when Max is like, why would I do that?
He's not going to back out, but
Exactly.
You should back out when the options are accept that you're beaten in the move and get him down the next straight, or crash.
Yeah.
I think that's what people are trying to articulate, and the emotions don't allow that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because it's dangerous if you don't back out when you're supposed to. If you're not following the rules, then, as we said earlier, the rules are there for a reason. They're black and white. But some say that these are the rules, kind of what they were both doing, aren't exactly black and white.
Yeah, I mean, so a couple of the dive bombs from Lando were over the limit.
Yeah.
But that's the way Max defends means they're the moves you need to make to overtake him.
Especially if Max is just getting away with it. Obviously, I know he got a 10-second time penalty, but one, it didn't make a difference. And two, it wasn't even for moving under braking.
It was for causing a collision.
Yeah.
And I don't think it making a difference matters. It's just luck. You know, it's not about the effect of the penalty or the outcome. It's like, penalty is a penalty.
It's the consistency of the penalty.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah,
it's just such
frustrating.
It is such a shame that they collided and Lando DNF'd and Max didn't. Like, I know. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, the other thing is, it looked like on TV, and I don't know if this was intentional or not, but it looked like after they crashed, Lando's instinct was like, oh, he's got a puncture, I'm going to overtake him now and win the race. And he tried to go up the inside, and Max just swerved onto the grass, like forced Lando onto the grass. And I don't know if that was Max trying to get out of the way of faster drivers going through, or it was Max saying, or his subconscious like reaction be like, oh my god, you just crashed into me and given me a puncture, and now you're trying to overtake me. No, don't overtake me. Like, but it looked like he was doing that. So, but
emotions, I'm sure, were very high at that point.
100%. Like, yeah.
Is that how did Lando get his puncture from Max or from him pushing him into the grass?
Oh no, it was before that. Yeah, I think it was the second contact he got the puncture.
Okay, it didn't. Okay, yeah, because Max's was quite obvious, and then
and the other thing that Max does, and we saw glimpses of here, is brakes as late as possible, but late in a way where he's going to go off the track as well. Yeah. And there was reminiscent of Brazil in 2021 where he forced Lewis Hamilton like 4 miles off the track because they both they both had to brake so late.
Yeah.
And like Lewis reacted to Max braking so late, and they both just went so far off the track.
Yeah.
So it was reminiscent of that as well, and so I think that needs to be. They need to find a way to eliminate that kind of racing. Mm-hmm. Like if you're going to race your opponent hard, make sure you're both staying on the track.
Yeah. Otherwise, penalties.
Yeah.
Anthony Davidson did a very good run-through analysis of that incident. A few of the incidents. But it was a shame that Red Bull were saying that they did nothing wrong and didn't take any accountability for it.
Yeah. I think it's the attitude and I guess presence they choose to have is like the villain, the heel.
Yeah.
And it even comes through on Max and GP's like radio calls. They're so sarcastic and antagonistic.
Yeah.
They're just like, not sure what he's trying to do there, mate. Whatever. And it's like it really like it's designed to like boil their opponent's blood when they hear it.
Yeah.
It's just like it's so like nonchalant and sarcastic and like.
But I feel like it works though. When I hear that kind of thing, I am trying to stay kind of neutral because I am a Lando Norris fan.
But as a fan, you're not neutral, and that's fine.
No, yeah, but it really winds me up.
Yeah,
it really
that's
does.
what it's meant to do.
Yeah, and it clearly works. Yeah.
And they just go, no, he's an idiot. Yeah, I agree, he's an idiot. Whatever, you keep doing you. And it's like, it's funny when you look back on it, but at the time, it's like, shut up.
Yeah. Just take some accountability. When he was told he had his 10-second time penalty, he was like, that's ridiculous. I'm like, is it? You wait until you see what you did.
But yeah, no driver wants to admit when they're in the wrong.
No. Ted on Ted's notebook was like, can two drivers who are fighting for the World Drivers' Championship be friends? And he was like, I don't think they can.
Well, we saw Lewis and Nico best of friends before.
Yeah.
Before Spain in 2016. Mm-hmm. After that, their friendship was very much damaged.
Exactly. And obviously, watching Lando's interview after, he said if Max doesn't kind of take accountability and apologise for his disrespectful racing, then he'll lose a lot of respect for Max. Yeah. And I think even if this isn't the kind of straw that breaks the camel's back with their friendship, which I don't necessarily think it is. I think it's the beginning. I think if they're going to continue to have these fights on track, it is going to have take a toll on their friendship.
Yeah, I think there was still a lot of frustration from Lando at that point in time. It's just after the race. I'm sure it's fine for now, but if it keeps carrying on like this, it'll, compile over time.
Yeah.
And then we'll see a different kind of dynamic between the two.
Yeah. I hope it's the case of on track where enemies in real life we can separate it and compartmentalize. But yeah, I don't know. I think that would be a struggle. I would struggle with that.
Maybe when the season's over, they'll be friends again.
Maybe just when the summer break and the end of the season. Now let's talk about the fact that I influenced George Russell's win, shall we?
God. Okay.
I wore my Mercedes top last podcast, which I didn't bring up, and he won. There's such thing as coincidences, but that's too much of a coincidence.
Like an American football fan, I've got to wear my lucky socks. It's all down to the superstitious fans following their traditions every single time, and then the team wins.
Maybe if I wore my McLaren merch, then Lando wouldn't have crashed.
Yeah, maybe. But yes, George won the race. He was the benefactor of the front two crashing, and while he was third best on the day, he deserved the win in the sense that he was there to pick up the pieces.
Yep.
When the dominoes fell. Sorry, that was really cheesy.
When the dominoes fell.
But all the other drivers could have put themselves in P3
Yep.
and been prime spots to take the opportunity when the front two drivers crashed, but they weren't. George Russell was.
Yep.
He made sure he was there to make the most of the opportunity when it came to him, and in that sense, he made his own luck. And that's why he won the race.
It ain't over till it's over, as George Russell said.
Yeah, so it's not on merit, but it was deserved in that sense.
Look, Oscar Piastri got his lap time deleted in qualifying. If he hadn't, he would have started the race in P3, and who knows where he could have come at the end of the race after that incident. Yeah. He could have been involved in the incident, but he would have had a better chance at being in George Russell's position. But he wasn't, because his lap time got deleted. So therefore, George absolutely deserved that win.
Yeah, you never know. You just never know what can happen over a race weekend. But I don't think it's going to be long before Piastri gets his first win.
No, it wouldn't surprise me if it was this season.
It's only his second season. He's already mega quick. So, yeah.
Definitely.
It won't be long. But I think it's good for George that he got a second, especially stepping up next year.
Yeah, definitely. It was nice to see him on the top step, hear the British national anthem. Mm-hmm. Also nice to see Carlos Sainz back on the podium as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so 3 different teams on the podium.
Yeah.
It would have been 3 different teams anyway.
Yeah.
But it was like the not like the up and comers, because Carlos has been in the sport a while, so it's George, but like the recognised second drivers. George is second to Lewis.
Yeah.
Piastri is second to Norris, and Sainz, you could argue who's better, but Ferrari see him as second to Charles, and so they're coming up and finally taking their spots and replacing the old people, the old guard at the top of the grid. So it's nice to see fresh blood, I guess, that aren't on the top step every week.
Yeah, it's nice to see a mix up on the podium. I think.
Yeah,
definitely not having Max on there every week is refreshing. Yeah. So it was good. Good thing Crofty wasn't commentating though.
Yeah, hear the roars of the crowd.
Mm-hmm. Could have definitely jinxed Russell.
Well, he's buckled under pressure a couple of times before now.
Yeah.
Well, especially when Crofty said that.
Exactly.
Yeah. But no, he held on, brought it home.
Yep.
In spite of Toto Wolff.
Yeah. Oh my God. Toto actually apologised for shouting at George on the radio, saying we can win this, because George was braking in a braking zone.
Yeah.
Almost crashed his car.
Yeah, he said he almost crashed.
Yeah. And Toto was like, probably not the best idea I've ever had, but I was just really excited, which is fair. It's nice to see Mercedes back up there.
God, George Russell is so uncool, isn't he?
He's cute.
Yeah, no, I do like him, and I think he's a good driver. But for him to say yabba dabba doo,
oh, bless him. You gotta be an individual. You gotta be unique, and there he is.
Oh, it's so uncool.
All right,
it's great.
Yeah, he's so nice though. You gotta give him that.
Yeah, no, yeah, That's not a criticism. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
But
Bless him.
he's got his own personality.
Yeah. We love to see it. He's not a sheep.
Yes, but yeah, you mentioned Crofty wasn't on the radio. Who was it this week again?
Harry, someone, I think.
Yeah, that's right. And yeah, he's quite a good commentator. He's got like his own sort of cadence, like while calling. He's quite good.
He's got his own catchphrase at the beginning. Obviously, Crofty has lights out and away we go, and he's got foot to the floor. Something I can't and out the door. Yeah, no, yeah.
No, yeah. Can't really fault anything. There's one thing I did notice I thought was quite funny. It's like when they were talking to I think it was like team principals on the pit wall.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember who it was. Was it? I think it was like Bradley Lord at Mercedes or something. He's like the director of strategy or something like that. But like he won't come out of like commentary mode to speak to them. So he'd be like, "So, Bradley, what is the strategy here today? All right, we'll talk to you later on. Thank you." And it's quite funny that he doesn't like snap out of it to like just talk to someone like a normal person. Like he doesn't have.
I can't say I noticed that, but also it could just be in his training. You don't know.
Yeah, that is not something I noticed.
Yeah,
that I found quite quite entertaining.
That's fair
for myself. But
yeah.
Martin Brundle, like when he's just like talking to him like a normal person, he's like, "Oh yeah, so like, what do you reckon like strategy is going to be?" Blah, blah, blah. But he's been doing it for 30 odd years.
Yeah,
so
yeah. He's just
having
a little chat. He's
Yeah, can't fault him. Otherwise, but no. Not that I'm faulting him there, but I just thought that was something quite amusing.
Yeah.
Personally, anyways.
That's fair. Yeah, I quite like him on commentary alongside Crofty. I love Crofty, but yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, I mean, but we've talked for long enough. We should probably review our predictions.
Okay.
Sprint race predictions.
So, sprint race prediction in P3. I put Lando Norris, and he came
P3.
P2.
Sprint race.
Oh, this isn't qualifying. This is the sprint race. I was correct. Nice. P2, I put Charles Leclerc.
Wrong. Very wrong.
And P1, I put Max Verstappen. So that's 2 out of 3.
Actually, speaking of Leclerc, we didn't speak about him yet.
No.
But he had a bit of a mare as well.
Yeah,
he got hit on the first lap and got lapped again for the second time in 2 or 3 races.
It's been, 3, I think.
Yeah.
Since Monaco, so.
Did he get lapped in Canada? Spain?
Didn't have a good race.
I think he got lapped in Spain. Yeah, man. Monaco curse, delayed effect.
Definitely.
Anyway, for the sprint, I put Sainz in 3rd.
Okay.
Piastri in 2nd, which is correct.
Yeah.
And Hamilton in 1st.
Oh, do you know what? That's so close to the actual race finish.
Yeah, it is.
You just need to swap out the Mercedes driver and you would have got that all right.
Yeah. See, I knew something was going to happen.
Yeah, something was in the waters.
Quali,
I put P3, George Russell. P2, Lando Norris. And pole position, Max Verstappen.
I don't act surprised. Come on,
but I was
not
right.
Surprising.
The all 3 were right.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I was surprised. I got it all right.
Well done.
Thank you, Oscar Piastri, for getting your lap time deleted.
Yeah. I put Verham Nor 3rd, Verstappen, Ham 2nd, Norris 1st.
Okay.
So
all wrong.
2 right in the wrong order.
Still wrong.
The 2 obvious ones were right in the wrong order. Oh well. And plus, the 3rd one was the right team.
All right. Here we go. Okay. Race. P3, Charles Leclerc. I need to apologise to Ferrari fans because I think I jinxed Charles Leclerc there. Terrible.
I think it's going to take more or less than you to jinx Charles Leclerc. I think a gust of wind can jinx Charles Leclerc at this point.
Did you hear on his radio they were like, yeah, we're projecting you to be in the points, and then they pitted him again. And then
I don't know what they were doing because he pitted like 3 times within 20 laps or something like that.
Okay,
and they were like,
him to be in the
is Charles pitting again?
Yeah, ridiculous. P2, George Russell. And P1, Lando Norris.
Who did you put P3? Charles. Apart from him, you kind of shifted. Yeah.
Yeah, not
You
right.
weren't far off of George though.
I wasn't. I knew it would be up there. I just knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it.
See, I had hope for Hamilton this week.
Yeah.
So I put Hamilton third, Verstappen second, Norris first. Which the 1 and 2 could have happened.
Could have.
Should have happened.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
But yeah, bit off there. All three were wrong, really, weren't they?
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Bold predictions.
Let's do it. So I put there will be at least 2 safety cars. There was not one.
There was a virtual safety car.
Yep, doesn't count. Oh well,
Yeah.
got that wrong. It was still exciting regardless though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I put Max will have a bad sprint. He did not.
Bad race.
Bad by his standards. But overall, yeah, bad because he ended like 5th place. Still ahead of his teammate, wasn't he?
Yeah, but are we shocked?
Yeah, but he crawled back to the pits, pitted, had a 10-second penalty, and was still ahead of Perez.
Yeah. Well, Paris did have a hole in the side pod, so that's all.
Can't
That's
be
all.
that bad if you finish the race.
All excuse you need. My second one is whoever wins the sprint will DNF the race.
No way.
I didn't get it right, but
It might as well have.
Might as well
no,
have,
he's
yeah.
still got quite a few points actually.
yeah, but something happened to the race winner of the sprint. He could have DNF'd.
Yeah.
How crazy would that have been if he did? And I was like, oh my god.
George is like another kick in the teeth.
Wow.
It's like if Norris is got a chance of even remotely catching Verstappen this season in points,
Yeah.
is that the wrong driver DNF?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like Max gets a penalty for causing a collision, so it was deemed his fault, and yet Lando DNS and Max still picks up like 10 points.
Yeah, so he's made that gap even bigger.
Yeah.
What's your second one?
Another Alpine clash. And they were racing each other.
Yeah, they were. I was a bit worried, actually, at some point that they were going to collide. I don't know how I'd feel if I was an Alpine fan. I don't know if I'd be very happy with their behaviour.
I feel like if you're a fan of a team like Alpine, you're like a guest fan of one of the top teams, at least like rooting for them to do well.
Yeah, I guess.
Until your team gets back up there and you're like, yes, I'm an Alpine fan again.
They are getting back up there. Then obviously not. They're getting points.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, they are getting points.
Yeah.
I think they got points again this week, didn't they?
Pierre Gasly came P10. So
Yes,
yeah.
yeah. So people say, "Oh, what team do you support?" You're like, "I'm an Alpine fan," but at the moment, I want Norris to win. Like, that's kind of
Actually, I'm curious to see if that's true. My third one is Lance Stroll will cause at least one car to DNF. No, didn't happen.
did come
Did
together
come
with
together.
Sargent though. Don't know whose fault that was though.
I think it was Sargent's.
Classic Sargent. Oh, Logan.
Oh, Logan.
I've put feisty Ferrari will continue. Didn't happen.
They were nowhere near each other.
No, poor Charles. I hope he bounces back.
He will.
Because it's another like elite driver to add to the mix if he does.
Yeah.
I know Mercedes last couple races have been the third best team ahead of Ferrari. But I want to see Charles up there.
Me too.
Get him in the mix.
Exactly. That's why I put him on my podium, but nope. My fourth one was there will be 4 different people on pole / race win, which didn't happen. Max won everything apart from the race.
Yeah, and he almost won the race.
Yeah. Well done, Max Verstappen.
I put Logan Sargent will get to Q2.
He did in the sprint.
Yeah, I'll take it.
He did in the sprint.
Well done, Logan.
Yeah, well done, Logan.
You win.
You did it. Well done.
Isn't he like P20 in qualifying? I think he was.
Yeah, I think so.
Come on, Logan.
I honestly don't think he's going to make the end of the season.
Yeah.
He'll be gone. Couple other notable things. Daniel Ricciardo finishing P8. P9.
Yeah.
P9, he got 2 points. Nico Hulkenberg,
P6.
P6. Kevin Magnussen, P8.
Sergio Perez, P7.
But big news for Haas. Big news for Danny Rick.
Yeah,
getting those
Haas
2
his
points.
best week in ages.
Really good. Really good amount of points. Not good for Williams.
No.
Not good for...
Albon had a penalty as well.
He did. Not good. That's why I just don't think they'll keep Logan.
Average for Stake, Sauber.
Average, yeah. Joe was P17.
Yeah, and Aston Martin. Bit of a shocker, really. Where have they gone? Same old story with them.
I know, just going downhill. They
Competitive at the start of the
yeah.
season, and then everyone just outdevelops them, it seems. Or they outdevelop themselves, who knows? Because last season they were like trying to iterate on their upgrades, and then they just undid a whole bunch of them. And they started getting podiums again.
Yeah.
What's that
Maybe they
about?
need to do that again. But yeah, great weekend. There was a few different people in the top 10 that we didn't expect.
Surprise race winner. Surprise podium.
Yep.
Surprise clash. At the
This
front.
is what F1 is all about.
Yes.
This is what we want to
Finally.
see. Exactly.
But yes, we can finally wrap it up there. I think we've covered most parts. Let us know if we've missed anything, and we can discuss it in the comments with you all.
Yep.
But other than that, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, and we'll catch you very shortly, because Silverstone is next weekend.
This weekend.
Well, yeah, this coming weekend.
Yeah.
It's the very next weekend after Austria.
Yes.
So,
Exciting.
yeah, look after yourselves, and we'll see you then.
Bye.